Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, guys? Sergeant Moose here, back with another The Texas Chainsaw Massacre video, and today, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about hands. Now, if you've seen the title of this video, you came into the video, you might be thinking, okay, well, he's just going to talk about his ripstall ability, his barge, and his traps. We all know Hands is super strong within the game, and we all know why he's super important, but that's actually not the case, guys. So, we've been playing Hands for a few days now, and we all do, and I think we all can agree on that he is a super powerful family member. There's no doubt about that. He has a lot of utility. He does a lot of damage. He's relatively fast. He's a lot faster than what I thought he was gonna be before he came out. And of course, I mean, he can take down victims pretty damn quickly. But I still think, guys, with all of these utilities that Hands has, and I know I don't want this to be a balance type video or anything like that. I know folks, have their issues with his ripstall ability and things like that. Pretty much the main issue with Hands right now is his ripstall ability, and I also have my own opinions on that. I think it needs to be toned down a little bit myself, and also I think that he should not be able to instantly cancel Danny's tampers. So, being a family man, guys, you heard it here, my non-biased opinion. From myself here, I believe there is some things a little bit overpowered, but that is a different video for a different day. That's not what I want to talk about. Even if he gets nerfed or, things like that get nerfed on him, this video will still be relevant. Now, the thing that I think is most important on Hands, guys, right now is the fact that with him allows for you to play a bunch of different comps in this game and still be, if you want to be, competitive. And what I mean by that is whenever you look at a squad, say you're with two other buddies, you're playing and you have a lobby and you see a squad come in and you know they're going to be a sweat squad. You've played them before, they're a rush squad, a rush meta squad. Most folks, including myself, are going to lean toward Hitchhiker, Cook, and Leatherface to take on this squad. If you look at, competitive teams and things like that, usually 99.9% of the time it is always Cook, Hitchhiker, and Leatherface, and if you go a different family member, you're just giving yourself a disadvantage. Because one thing I have always talked about in this game is even more important than just getting all the kills, is not only getting kills, but not letting victims escape, and that means goaltending. That means watching exits and trying not to let them leave the exits. Now, we do know why most people use Cook and Hitchhiker all the time is because they have utilities to help them block the exits with the padlocks and the traps, of course. And this also gives them information to where they don't have to constantly camp the objectives so they can see if victims are trying to work, i.e., family focus. So this is where I think Hands comes into play, because when you look at Hands' utility, and actually maybe this video is kind of pertaining to his electric traps, because that is the main basis of this video. If you look at Hands' utility with his extra trap, he can almost do everything that a Cook and Hitchhiker can do to lock down objectives in just one family member. So, and basically, if you have a Hands on your team, this opens up a huge plethora of playing tons of different characters. Now, previously to this patch, guys, if you've watched my streams or seen my gameplay, usually me and my team, we're always running Cook, Hitchhiker, and Leatherface. Sometimes we, branch out, we'll do a Johnny or a Sissy here and there. But ever since this update, guys, of course, everybody's got Hands, and being in solo queue, it's hard to get them sometimes. I've been playing a ton of Sissy, and we're going to get into her later, guys. We're going to be making a build video on her. It's actually going to be our first build video. And we've been having tremendous success just because we have Hands on the team, and we don't have to rely on having a Cook and Hitchhiker. And in my opinion, guys, this is the absolute best part of this update. Not just because he's powerful, not just because, a lot of folks believe that he's a little overtuned on some of his stuff, but because of the fact it's more of a quality of life thing to where now you can feel a little bit better about playing the characters that you actually want to play instead of having to play the meta characters in the game as long as you have a Hands on your team. Now, what I mean by that, of course, guys, if you say you're on Gas Station or you're on the Mill, for instance, Hands plays absolutely incredible on both, and I think he can be an easy replacement for the Cook on both of those maps because his electric traps do work on gates just like Cook's padlocks do, and they work almost exactly the same way. You can use your family focus to check them out, see if they're broken or used, and of course the victims will get electrocuted if they hit one. So that can eliminate the Cook on both of them maps. So if you don't want to play the Cook and you want to play somebody else, you can run a Hands, and then you can run another character. Same with Hitchhiker. Hands can trap the fuse box. He can trap the pressure tank, which are two main points of interest that Hitchhiker usually goes with his traps, and one of the reasons you want to use a Hitchhiker in the game, especially if you have a Danny. Again, you can replace him with the Hands, and then you can pick another character of choice that you want to go along with Hands, or another two characters, because as much as I hate to say it, guys, after playing Hands for a couple days, I still think Leatherface is the most essential, needed character in this game, even more than Hands, even more than anybody else. But if you do decide to not run a Leatherface, Hands can also be effective in the game without a Leatherface, because of course he has his Barrier Breaker perk. So what I'm saying, guys, is I've been having so much fun the last few days without, I was able to pick characters like Sissy. I've been playing a ton of Sissy, man, which is very, very rare for me. I started the game playing her. I absolutely love Sissy, but let's be honest, before this patch, she just wasn't that good. Now she has different things in her inventory, which I'm not going to talk about here because I'm going to be doing a build video on her, which is an amazing skill tree she has. So I've been having a ton of fun with her, and we've had a lot of success, because it does seem sometimes, before this patch, if you would pick a Johnny and Sissy against a really good team, you just knew somebody was probably going to get out, or you were going to have a really hard time. A harder time than what you would if you were running Cook and Hitchhiker. So I think it's really good for quality of life in this game, guys, that we have Hands. Because as long as you're running him in a game, it leaves you that option to run basically any other characters you want and still have a good chance of winning. That's what I really like about it, because as it was before, and I have no problem with the OG3, because, again, they are the original characters from the movie, and I love running all three of them all the time. But for folks out there that want to kind of branch out a little bit, get their Johnny going, get their Sissy, their Nancy, whatever it may be, this opens up a whole new plethora of options and different strategies that you can do on different maps with different family members. So I just want to know you guys' thoughts down below in the comments, guys. Now, before we get in to the OP comments and stuff like that, because I know stuff like that's coming, I already know, and I've already spoken my piece about it. I do think there's things on Hands that should be tuned down, starting with the Rip Stall ability. But I just want to know, have you guys ventured outside of the meta, the Cook, Hitchhiker, and Leatherface? Have you ventured out and had success with Hands? Because I believe he is the key missing piece to allow you to move outside of that meta and still have success against really good victim teams. But yeah, that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, man. If you did, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're doing all new build videos for every character in the game coming up, guys, to complement the new skill trees, starting with Sissy. So look out for that, guys. We'll be on that one next. My name's Sergeant Moose. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.